In this video, I'm going to be taking you through some tips on how to produce strong and reliable rasgueados. So let's get started. What I'm about to show you is the way I was taught and the way I play. Back in the 1980s, when I first started learning flamenco, it didn't take me long to realize that there were many different ways to approach the subject of rasgueados. And there's a multitude of different rasgueados and different ways to execute certain passages in flamenco pieces. Anyway, the people that the famous people who recorded things and wrote books, and people that I basically studied from, I studied their styles, all had one thing in common. And that's the first tip I'm going to mention, and that is that they rested the thumb on the top. And I'm thinking of, I've made a list here because I can't remember them. People like Paco Peña, Paco de Lucia, Juan Serrano, Nino Ricardo, Pepe Romero, Tomatito, Juan Martin, and Diego del Gastor, to name just a few. They pretty much had the same principle here of resting the thumb, and the rasgueados were done with a loose hand. I mention that because when the internet came along, and I'm starting to see lots of great videos of people playing, I noticed a little anomaly, that not everybody rests their thumb on the top. And I figure, well, it must be a thing about modern playing, an evolution or something. But what I'm getting at is that some people execute their rasgueados with a bent thumb. Sometimes if you look full on onto the guitar, you can't even see their thumb. And I'm thinking, am I missing something? Maybe I can learn from this. So I tried this method. The rasgueados these people produce are very strong and powerful and clear, and I like it and I wanted to learn it, but for the life of me I can't do it. The thing that always kept coming back into my mind is, this produces tension. I can't do it because I'm tense. That's all right. A quick flick to produce a but where do you go from there? If you have to do something really quick like an arpeggio, you have to get your thumb back in position. And anyway, I felt tense even if I'm going to do this and bring my index back like this. That bringing the index back felt extremely tense. And I'm thinking, okay, I've tried it, I've looked at them, they're great players and they produce some wonderful music, but I ain't gonna do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but it's not for me. Okay, next thing is how you actually release the fingers from the hand. Now, many teachers in books and whatever on video sets and teaching methods teach to hold the hand in a fist and release the fingers slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your basic rasgueado. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I also would say, in the beginning, yes, please do this. If you want to learn how to strengthen, or how to strengthen your fingers, especially the pinky and the middle finger. The pinky is notorious. It's absolutely weak. So when you first start playing these things, you'll find that you just can't get a strong sound. The index, sure. Middle, it just seems so weak, it don't want to move. Anyway, start with this. I recommend you do start with a fist. That doesn't mean you're going to play like this. It means you're only exercising and giving the little finger a workout. So what's happening is the fingers are curled up inside the palm and they're flicking from the palm. The nail is actually, it's a little bit dug into the palm. It doesn't hurt, but you're flicking from the flesh. And then do it again and again, it's like going to the gym. You want to exercise any muscle, you've got to train it and keep working at it until you can do it in the free air like this. And when you are doing it in the freely like this, the pinky actually flicks off the A finger. It's pressing against the A finger normally. So use that to your advantage and flick from that position of the A finger connection. Like that. It's a slow progress, but you'll get it. The more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. So the pinky is the most important one to get used to. And they don't seem to mention that in the books. They just say, do this, 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 this. That's fair enough, but how do you do it? That's how you do it. That's how I learned anyway. Flick, 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 flick. So yes, do that when you're training, but when you're playing, rest your thing there. You're not actually starting off like this and executing it on the guitar like that. This is in the free air purely for training, and that's it. On the guitar, rest the thumb lightly on the 6th string and lift them up. And you're mainly relying on this idea of flicking the little finger, the pinky, from its position of pressing against the ring finger. That's what you're relying on to get that out. Just keep practicing and you'll get it. Okay, not curled up real much, but the other thing to mention is that the only fingers that come up the other way are the index and the thumb. The pinky, the ring finger, and the middle finger are only down. They don't come up. They don't do this. I know some classical guitarists teach that method when they're trying to teach their students Spanishy sort of sounds in their Spanish pieces to simulate a rasgueado, which is fine. Got no problem with that. I learned classical guitar myself. But anyway, with flamenco, no. The only things that come up are the index and the thumb, and that's it. The other three, down. Okay, so we've covered the thumb, the pinky flick. The next thing is when you're executing these strokes. I've got an E major chord, by the way. Could be anything. I've just got E major. When you're flicking these out, flick them quickly. There's no slow sort of movement there. Doesn't matter how quick the rasgueado is, whether it's same thing applies. Each time you strike, flick it as quickly as you can and clear the strings. And that brings us to the next point. When you flick, clear the string and don't start the next one until that's clear. Clear, start now. Clear and start the next one. Again. And I've already mentioned this, but don't drag. Don't drag. I know some of the old school players, you know, some of the traditional flamenco players had this way of doing a rasgueado, a continuous rasgueado. E, I call the pinky E. E, A, M, I, E, A, M, I, E, A, M, I, E, A, M, I. Some traditional players would play like this, with that drag sort of feeling about it. Where there's more than one finger on the strings at once. So some people do drag, but generally speaking, they don't. You know, some of the top players, past and present, don't drag. But hey, some do. It's just a traditional way to do it. There's no right or wrong, but I personally am not a big fan of that sort of thing. So my point is, don't drag. Try it if you want, but you know, that's one of my points, is don't drag. Everything's clear. All right, so what have we got to? Rest the thumb, the pinky flick quickly, one finger at a time, don't drag. The next thing I want to mention is when you strike, stop. This is during training, the initial training, your boot camp. Get used to in your practice time to flick and stop dead, and relax your whole hand. Everything's relaxed, everything. Okay, relax. Strike and stop. Strike and stop. Strike and stop. Now the whole thing about that is it sends messages to the brain while you're practicing, you're striking and you're stopping. It tells the brain, which is the big controllers up here, not in here, even though the fingers do develop a muscle memory, the controlling force is up here. And practicing like this, strike and stop, strike and stop and relax, strike and relax, strike and relax. It's telling the brain that that's how you want the fingers to behave. Not just slow, but as you develop speed, the brain still understands that after every stroke you relax. So it doesn't matter how fast you go, your hand is completely relaxed. That's the whole point. You don't want to seize up, and you don't want to start off your training thinking that, oh, you got to go like a bat out of hell. You'll reach a ceiling very soon, and you will not get any further with speed and accuracy because your hand is seizing up. So there's no sort of, you know, single motion. One student came to me and said to me, I got it. Big light bulb moment. He said, this is how you do it. Yeah. And I noticed that he was like really tense. I said, well, try doing, you know, a continuous one. Of course, he couldn't do it. But that was his light bulb moment. Despite what I'd shown him, he came across a new way of doing it. And that's all I could say is, okay, see you later, good luck. So relaxing, sending messages to your brain to allow the fingers to have little micro sleep. It's called biofeedback in 1970s new age lingo. Talk to the brain, and the brain will respect that and serve you for the rest of your life. Okay, it listens. So anything you do nice and slowly and repetitively, the brain remembers, so that when you're playing in full-blown pieces and go, you know, you're just concentrating on the music, you don't have to think about technique anymore because you've done all that. You've trained the brain to do what you want the fingers to do. There you go. I must sound like a bloody evangelist, but that's how you go. The next thing I want to mention is how many strings do you strike? People ask me this all the time. Okay, once again, I've got the E chord here. If you're doing something like this, or this, that was E, A, M, I, I, E, A, M, I, I, that's a continuous Rasgueado. Or A, M, I, up, A, M, I, up, I, A, M, I, A, M, I, and I up again. I personally aim for 5 strings. And if you look closely at the video, you'll see, I can see the strings vibrate, the 5th string is vibrating. But when you've got your hand here, of course, you're not going to hit the 6th string. vibrate that much. Sometimes I miss, but I aim for 5 strings. And if you get 4, that's absolutely fine. Coming up with the index finger or up with a thumb, aim for 4, because I mean, with the thumb, you might be able to get 5 or 6 even. But don't worry about that. Just aim, especially the little finger. Sorry, the index finger I'm talking about. Aim for 4, and if you get 3, that's okay too. There's no hard and fast rule. It's basically down, aim for 5, and coming up, aim for 4, and that's that. Phew, I think I might have covered what I wanted to say. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, that's right. If you want to play, say, a normal rasgueado that you would normally play like this, E-A-M-I-I, just say you wanted to play that as an effect, you wanted to play it higher up the strings, let's say in the middle, just move your thumb up. I don't go like that, I move my thumb up. So let's just say you're aiming for 4 strings. Let's just say you want to aim for the middle 4 strings. The top 4 strings, I mean the bass strings. Same thing goes with the triplet rasgueado. Up with the thumb, down with the middle, and down with the thumb. Same thing. Going from the top to the bass. Look, I think that's all I really want to say today. So that introductory piece of Soleares that I played in the beginning, I'll write that up and leave a link in the description where you can download the PDF and the guitar profile. Whoa! I have other videos with regards to learning rasgueados, so check them out. They're over there, I think. Hang on. Oh, where am I? I think, oh, yeah, over there. I'm still getting used to this YouTube thing. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later.